He's Joel Klatt. He's a former quarterback, and he'll tell you. He was a star quarterback at Colorado. This Saturday, Joel calls Utah and USC on Fox. By the way, why is USC favored against Utah?
I have no idea.
Somebody knows something, Joel.
I guess they don't have all those big shiny buildings for nothing in Vegas. But I will say this: I think that USC in general is inflated on the line every single week just because of betting patterns. They don't necessarily. I don't think that this is indicative of the game or the teams as much as it is indicative of the money. Where is the money going to go, and how do you incite 50-50 betting? Because I think if USC would have been a 3-point dog, I think that the money would have just been so heavy on the Trojans that they would have been, at a difficult spot in terms of business in Vegas. So I think it has more to do with that than the teams, because the teams, Utah is really good. And if you just look at their defensive front seven, I think Cody Kessler could have a really long night.
How does USC beat Utah?
It's got to be the big play. They had, I think it was 3 plays over 60 yards against Notre Dame. That's what brought them back in that game after the 14-point deficit. They weren't able to hang on, but they've got to have those explosive plays. Adoree Jackson, I think, is going to play more offense than defense this week. He's been practicing primarily as an offensive player, and I think that's the direction Clay Helton wants to go. Kessler's very accurate. We know this, and this is not a team that I think can line up with Utah and just play them for 60 minutes in a phone booth and win. So they're going to have some razzle-dazzle. They're going to have some of those explosive plays in order to pull out the victory.
Is USC a great job?
I still think it is. Just because when you look at the 2 things that I think are most important to a coach, one is recruiting base and then 2 is financial support, they have it in spades. The recruiting base is just so good in Southern California, and they're still the marquee brand. That letter, when it goes out in Southern California, recruits itself, much less nationally, but in particular in Southern California. That's why UCLA, while they've done a marvelous job under Jim Mora, but Dan, they've had to go national more so than USC to get the players, because here in Los Angeles, it's still a USC town. So I do believe it's a great job. I really do. Now, that being said, and I've talked with some of the people at USC about this, they've really got to get this thing together. The adults at USC have got to do a better job for the students. If you're Cody Kessler, think about it. He's played for 4 different coaches versus Notre Dame. He's had 5 coaches at different points in his career because of the interim tag, and Ed Ogeron leaves because he gets his feelings hurt, and Kiffin's fired on the tarmac, and then the circus that we've got with Steve Sarkisian. I know that Pat Hayden is one of the most respected men in college football, but he has to do a better job of creating an atmosphere that fosters success for the student-athlete than what they've had here in the last couple of years.
He's Joel Klatt, Fox Sports, college football analyst. He's got USC and Utah coming up Saturday night on Fox. Urban Meyer, he finally went to J.T. Barrett. What took him so long?
I have no idea. I tell you what, this is one of those no-brainers from the beginning of the season that wasn't going that direction. So for me, it's all about third down and red zone play. That's what offense is all about in this day and age, and that's what defense is all about in this day and age. And when you look at third down numbers, Cardell Jones is just not very accurate. This guy has a huge arm, and that's great, but he is not efficient with the football. Ohio State in the first 5 games, Dan, they were 6 of 16 scoring touchdowns in the red area. Since J.T. Barrett became the quarterback, at least in the red area for the last 2 weeks, they're 11 of 12. So I'm much more bullish on them as a real legitimate national title contender. As before, I thought that they were just waiting to lose. So Barrett gives them a great option. He's a terrific runner. We saw him run for over 100 yards a week ago. So I think Ohio State's primed for another run. And last year, let's be honest, J.T. Barrett fixed the dinner, right? It was like Thanksgiving dinner, and he did all the work. He cooked he did it beautifully. He cooked the turkey. He did the stuffing. He's got cranberry sauce. He's got everything going on. And then all of a sudden, Cardell Jones was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna go serve this." And Cardell Jones walked out and was like, "Look what I have made." And I thought this year it's kind of fallen on his face a little bit.
This story at Louisville with Rick Pitino. Now, I know you played college football at Colorado, but is this a big deal? And I know prostitution is a big deal. There's minors involved, but in regards to recruiting and what you do with recruits, how big a deal is it to you?
I think the big deal is when it becomes institutional, and it's not just, boys will be boys. Not to sound crass about it, but obviously things happen on recruiting trips. Now, I was a walk-on, Dan, so clearly I'm an angel. I never took part in anything like that. But I will say, things happen in college, and all of us know that. But when it becomes institutional and it's set up, then there's an element of pressure that is put on those recruits. Like, if you want to come here, then you take part. And that type of peer pressure and institutional pressure is what I feel like is so wrong. And the hard part for me, having been an athlete, is this. Coaches know what goes on, whether it's a party off campus or whether it's what you do on a recruiting trip. They know, they hear. Guys don't just stay silent about things for months and months and years. So I don't believe that Rick Pitino didn't know anything. Having said that, if he didn't know anything, why? How could you not know something like that was going on? So either way, Rick is in a really bad position in this whole deal, because if you don't know, that just is a clear sign of a lack of institutional control, to use a ridiculous NCAA term. And if you do know, then that's a problem.
And plus, with a basketball team and recruits, you're only keeping an eye on how many guys. And certain guys you don't have to keep an eye on at all because they're not going to get in trouble. There's, probably nine guys maybe you keep an eye on. And you do, and I know on, my basketball team in college, we had a spy. And he even told me one time his job is to report back to the coach on guys who are drinking or smoking pot. So it happens.
Think about it. You hit the nail on the head. The back end of the bench is there for GPA.
Yeah,
they're towel wavers and GPA
well,
risers.
I wasn't there for the GPA, Joel.
Well, no, I'm not insinuating.
Oh no, I would
were.
have liked to have been. But I was a C student on the bench and not playing, so that'll give you an idea. I didn't help in either way.
Listen, when it comes to degrees, D's get degrees. I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. But you're right. There are players like that. And on football programs, there are guys there for their GPA. And there are guys that report back to the coaches. And that's why, listen, coaches know what is going on. And if Rick didn't know, his assistants did. And so then there was a breakdown in the communication between the coaching staff. So the whole thing just stinks, and I'm guessing that it's going to end very poorly for Rick Pitino.
Before I let you go, your upset special of the week is?
Texas Tech at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's riding the roller coaster. They're up and down, and Texas Tech puts up a lot of points.
Let me give you a rapid fire here.
Okay.
Clemson, Miami, chance of upset.
I think, yes. Definitely a chance for upset there.
All right. Indiana, Michigan State.
No, I think Mark D'Antonio has got this team after last week and after the struggles with Purdue and Rutgers. I think that they're going to be moving towards this showdown with Ohio State.
Tennessee, Alabama.
Nope, Alabama, after that loss to Ole Miss, I'm telling you, they look really, really good. I like Alabama in the college football playoff.
A&M against Mississippi.
I like A&M. I think A&M is really good. I think that they got beat by a really good Alabama team, and Christian Kirk's one of my favorite players in the country.
Have fun this weekend, Joel. Always great to talk to you.
Can't wait. I appreciate it. And trust me, you were not there just for your GPA.
Oh, I was there for my looks and my hair. You're right.
Of course you were. Hey, I know all about that hair, baby.
Thank you, Joel.
You got it.
Joel Klatt, Fox Sports, smart guy.